Hey guys, let's talk more about scarcity marketing. From Louis Vuitton to Chanel to Hermès and even Coach, luxury brands don't just sell bags anymore, they sell urgency. Hey guys, it's Mandy. Welcome to my channel, Just One More Bag 01, where luxury meets lifestyle. If you are obsessed with designer handbags, love luxury items, enjoy traveling, or just want to get a glimpse of my Yorkie Winston, you are in the right place. Well guys, I posted a video last weekend talking about when I was influenced basically into buying the Chanel 25 Mini due to scarcity marketing. And it really got me thinking about all of the other brands that are doing this and how that influences us as collectors. So have any of you been lured into buying a bag, not necessarily because you were completely in love with it, but because you were afraid you may not be able to purchase it again due to limited quantities? And I had a lot of people commenting on that video, so I thought, this is actually just a much broader topic that might be interesting for us to discuss a little deeper and to think about. So when we think about scarcity marketing and, how it works on all of us, some different things. For Hermes, they have their quota bags. You have to basically be invited to buy a bag. You have that pre-spend level that you may have to attain before you will get the opportunity to purchase a bag from them. At Louis Vuitton for the Murakami relaunch, I was fortunate that I was a VVIC client, and there's perks that come along with that. You are able to pre-order at different dates based upon your status, giving you access to those special limited pieces where others may not have that opportunity. And they really play on that, and they want you to feel special. And it's kind of easy to buy into it. It does make you feel good, like, oh, I'm so lucky I have this opportunity. Oh, of course I want to buy it. When it just came to the January 2026 launch where they were doing the white multicolor again, I was kind of torn between a couple different pieces that I wanted. And my SA was like, well, just order both of them and then decide. And I think about that after, and it's like, well, I truly at that point really wanted to just order one bag, because I had ordered some other pieces previously. But, thinking, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get the opportunity to buy it. And, you're kind of forced into it. The other thing is, normally I would want to be able to see the bag, try the bag on, but instead here I am placing an order for a bag. I may not know what it looks like at all. I may not have seen that style to know how it looks on me, how it fits on me, if I would be able to put all my things in it or like it. But, I just have to buy it because, you have a limited amount of time to be able to do that and to kind of guarantee that. So, it's kind of easy to get sucked in and to do it. And let's be honest, they're great at marketing that. My Chanel bag, in case you haven't seen that video, I'll actually link it below so you can see all the details around it. But the Chanel 25 mini bag, I'd been looking to add that bag to my collection potentially, or some other Chanel bags. When I tried some bags on, there was one I decided, I think that's the one I really want, but they didn't have the color I wanted. And I wasn't willing to settle for the other color because honestly, I just did not like it. It was not for me, and I never would have worn it. However, they couldn't get the one that I wanted. So they were like, oh, we have the Chanel 25 mini. And, I bought into that because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get this again because I had been, wanting to see it and try it on. I do not have any status at Chanel. I've purchased a couple of things here and there, nothing major over the past time. But, I'm not a VIC client there at all. So, having the opportunity to buy that was kind of a big deal because it's not easy. And, yes, you can buy it on the pre-loved market, but for thousands of dollars more. And that's just not something that me personally, I'm willing to do. you know, I'd be comfortable paying maybe a couple hundred extra personally, but you know, I even struggle with that. I have one bag that I paid more on, and honestly, guys, I think about it all the time and I regret that. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know how you guys feel about that. That's actually something I'm kind of concerned, or not concerned about. I'm curious about. Have you ever purchased a hard to get bag on the pre-loved market for like $1,000 or more than what it sold at retail at? And, you know, did you feel good about your purchase after because you just loved it and you didn't care, you just had to have it? Or did you kind of regret it after? I'm curious about that. So if you've been through that experience, please comment below and tell me about your experience. I'd love to hear. I'm always curious what everybody thinks. Some other things, you know, limited quantities. You know, they know that there's going to be extremely high demand for some of these products, and you know, it's kind of disappointing that they won't allow the access for everyone to get it who wants it. You know, I understand that these brands want their products to remain exclusive and be special, but you know, it's also kind of disappointing if that's the way it's always going to be going forward. And that's honestly part of the reason why I did return the Chanel 25 mini in a way, because I don't like that brands are doing that, you know, now going forward, just making it so hard to get, kind of creating that frenzy. And, you know, it kind of takes some of the fun out of it a little bit for me anyway. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but at the same point, if you are one of the lucky people who get that bag that is hard to get, it's probably pretty thrilling and exciting. You know, when I was looking at the Murakami collection for the cherries, and I wanted the Speedy 20 cherry bag. It was my number one bag that I wanted out of that entire collection. And I decided I want it so bad, I'm freaking going to France. I am going to get it. I don't care. I'm getting the bag. And I was still nervous I wasn't going to get it because I did a pre-order with my SA over there and she's absolutely wonderful, but it didn't ship, you know, like prior to be there for launch day. So on the day of the launch, I got extremely lucky here in the US and was able to order one. And then my one in France also came. So I did return the one here in the US so that somebody could get it. But, you know, I felt like so lucky or fortunate. And, you know, it's kind of crazy to feel like that over a bag, right? I don't know. Looking back at it, I love the bag and I am glad that I have it. But just remembering the way that I was feeling about it and how much I wanted it because I do love that bag, you know, it's a little bit upsetting in a way that it just wasn't that easy to get. And I'm sure that there's so many people out there who would have loved to have a certain bag from the Murakami collection that they just could not get. And, you know, that makes me sad because as luxury lovers, I want everybody to be able to get the pieces that they want. So it kind of bums me out a little bit. You know, there's also the social media hype from people, you know, how they're giving influencers free bags to hype it up, and, you know, that feeling of FOMO. And, you know, it just continues to add on to it. So I don't know. Do you guys feel that you are influenced? Like if you see some creators online with bags, do you feel like, oh, I want it because this celebrity has it or this creator has it? For me, I don't feel that influences me personally. I probably am influenced by people I see with bags, but it's more so just because I love the bag. I'm not someone who thinks like, oh, this person has it because this person has it, I want to have it, or I need to have it because they do. I'm influenced, I think, because I see something that I just love or that appeals to me. I mean, look around me, you guys see I love color. So, you know, if I see an influencer with a monogram bag, I do like monogram, but I'm more so drawn to colored bags. So I probably wouldn't be influenced as much. Now, maybe I'd like the style and I might kind of have it on my list for like, oh, when a cool print or something comes out, maybe in a colorful design, maybe I'd want to add that to my collection. But I think for me, that's kind of how it works more. They may introduce me to something that I'm not aware of or that I kind of put on my list like, wow, that's beautiful, but not necessarily because of who the person is. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm also curious, how many of you out there are playing the Hermès game? For me, I started an Hermès journey, I guess, last summer. And for me, I was actually really wanting the non-quota bags. A couple of them I really liked, the Picotin, the In the Loop, and the Garden Party. And I got very fortunate that I was able to get those bags within a couple months last year. And then I was really thinking like, I think I'd like to get a Birkin. I think I want maybe the 25 or the 30. And I was kind of on my way playing the Hermès game. And I was buying things that I liked and that I wanted, however. But now I'm kind of thinking, for me, I don't think I want the Birkin. I shared many times that my personal feeling is that in general, I don't like to spend more than $5,000 on a bag. That's kind of the point where I'm like, if I get to that point, do I really want it? Now, I do have bags that are over $5,000 and I will spend over that, but just in general, that's what I kind of like to aim for. And I really feel that if I had the Birkin, I don't think I would use it enough for it to be worth it, is what I've kind of come to the conclusion of. I think that the bag style that I wear the most and utilize the most is a crossbody bag. So I do have, top handle bags that I love, and, I do like that style still, but that's not what I gravitate to the most. And I feel that if I'm spending that kind of money on a bag, I really do want it to be an everyday bag. And for that reason, I don't think I'm really going to go after one. Now, don't get me wrong. If my SA called me up tomorrow and was like, hey, Mandy, I have a Rose Sakura Birkin 30. Do you want it? I'd probably say yes. I'd think about it really hard and I would, or if I was in Paris, of course I'm going to play the lottery game and try to get one there with the VAT tax refund and, do all that. But I'm not going to go out of my way for it anymore. It's not something to me that I want. And I know for a lot of luxury bag collectors or lovers, getting like the Birkin, the Kelly, the Constance, the BKC is kind of like the holy grail, or like you've made it with bag collecting. But, I think everybody's bag collecting journey is different. I mean, if you look at my collection, I'm probably not the norm of the collections that you see because I love artistic bags. I love the artist collaborations, that appeals to me, and the colorful bags. A lot of people, they prefer more neutral, everyday kind of style bags, and they may have a couple bold bags where I tend to go the other way. And I think that's also what makes hearing everyone's opinions and everyone's YouTube channels just so unique and different. Even if I'm watching somebody unbox a bag that I personally may not care for or carry, I still love watching them unboxing it and seeing their excitement, and that gives me joy. So for me, the Hermès game, I think that's kind of on pause. So we'll see what happens there. I also I don't know that I want to spend, thousands and thousands of dollars for the possibility to maybe be offered and be able to purchase a bag. I want to buy what I want to buy. And, if that's good enough for them to offer me a bag, great. If it's not, that's great too. But I'm just going to be me. All right. Sorry, guys, I took a lot of notes down for things I wanted to go over with you guys and get your feeling. I'm also curious about all of the Murakami launches. And, if we go back to January 2025, when multicolor dropped. You know, we were told it was going to just be that year with the Blanc and the Noir. Then they had cherry blossoms, then cherries. Well, then again in January 2026, for the anniversary, they did the white Blanc colorway again for multicolor. I keep hearing rumors that the black may be coming back, so we'll see. But I also wanted to know, how did you feel when it came back? Were you excited because you maybe didn't get the opportunity to purchase anything and you thought that you would again? Or were you a little disappointed because maybe you wouldn't have purchased as much as you did that first time, knowing it may come back around again? And, you know, we don't know if it will again with the black for sure yet, but it did with the white. You know, for me, I personally was okay with it because during that first drop for me, I focused on the black. So when it came out in the white, that was kind of okay for me because I didn't really have any of the white pieces. Now, I had some issues and I didn't get everything that I wanted. I did get a couple things and I'm okay with that. So it worked out for me, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. All right, guys. You know, one thing that's kind of interesting now too is it seems that Coach, you know, is also kind of moving in this direction a little bit as well. So it's not just the high-end luxury brands that are moving into the scarcity marketing. You know, Coach had their light pink drop. They also had their denim drops, and you know, it was extremely difficult to get any of those bags as well, and I saw so many people disappointed, and you know, that just made me really sad as well. So I'm curious, do you guys think that this is just going to be the new way of the future with some of these luxury brands, or you know, some of the most popular brands, and this is just kind of what we're going to have to deal with? Are you someone who's maybe a little frustrated with this and now you're really looking to just purchase on the pre-loved market because of it in the future, and you know, you're not even going to bother or waste your time? So I just thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk a little bit more about the scarcity marketing after my video last week and hear some more thoughts from you. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to join our growing community of bag lovers. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so very much for being here. I greatly appreciate every one of you. And thank you guys. Remember, no matter what, there's always room for just one more bag. I'll see you soon. Bye.